Hi, it's Pastor Paul L. Anderson here at the Fountain of Raleigh Fellowship, where we believe God's blessings never stop falling. Can you believe it is Fantastic Friday? We find ourselves now going into the weekend, and we're so grateful how God has blessed us and given us all the strength that we need. Please make sure you take care of yourself. Let's do all that we can as we go into this weekend. There have been so many words that we've heard from so many people about those who are vaccinated, not vaccinated. We see what's happened in California. They have their governor back again. And so let's make sure we focus on what's the most important thing. And that is all of us taking good care of ourselves and not pushing certain agendas. But let's make sure we look out for the safety of all. And with that, I think that we can all get along if we only try to. Please be careful. That's all I would say as you go to these different events and as you're mixing with other people, especially as we've seen all of those people who are at the U.S. Open, all of those who are at the football stadiums. Please make sure you know who's around you and always be safe because God will bless you and keep you as you keep your mind focused on Him. Let's focus on His Word today to hear what He has to say to us. Out of Romans, the 11th chapter, verses 25 through 32, Paul begins to talk about God's mercy is for everyone. God's mercy is for everyone. You know, I think in the time in which we live that many of us, we've forgotten all about what mercy is. You know, mercy is that extension that you really don't deserve, but God gives it to you. You know, somebody said, had it not been for God's mercy, I wouldn't be standing here today. Now, Paul writes these group of believers, and he writes them because he wanted them to understand. And as he writes to them, he calls them brothers and sisters. He's talking about a relationship. He's saying that I know you, you know me, we're part of the same family, we're all the children of God. And with that being said, I want you to not feel too proud about yourselves. You know, too oftentimes we think of ourselves more highly than we should think. He says that he wants us to remind ourselves that we are not all of that and that we should not have hard hearts when it comes to God correcting us, when it comes to God reminding us who He is and how God has given this message of salvation not only to Jews but also to Gentiles as well, and that God wants all of Israel to be saved. Now, here in the text, we begin to find out that there's a situation that is going on between Jews and between Gentiles. And I'm just so happy it reminds us in our contemporary lives how we try to polarize ourselves and how some groups think they're better than other groups and how other persons of social echelon, higher levels, feel that they're better than those who are lower echelon. But we must remind ourselves that God extends grace and mercy to us all. In the text, how Paul talks to us, and he talks about God's gift can never be taken from us. You know, God gives us a gift. And when God imparts His Spirit into us, it doesn't matter who you think you are, who you are not. When God gives something to you, He gives it to you to use for His glory. Too oftentimes, God gives us gifts, and we don't use them to its full potential for God's glory. Sometimes people use the gifts of God for their own temporary satisfaction here on earth. But all of us have to remind ourselves that this is only a temporary situation, but there are some things that are eternal, and that is our souls. And so today, Paul reminds us, and he tells us, don't rebel against God. You know, too oftentimes when we see things happening to other people and it's not happening to us, we find ourselves going through this conflict within. Today, I want to remind you, search for the goodness of God. Search for the mercies of God and remind all of ourselves that we are all sinners who are saved by God's mercy and saved by God's grace. Today, let's embrace the grace and the mercy of God. Let's share that same grace and mercy with others. Let's not beat up on people, those who are not vaccinated, but let's make sure we talk about public safety. Let's talk about good public health and good public policy. And let's focus on what's important, and that is how God wants us to share His infinite mercy, not only for those whom we love and those we like, but to everybody. So today, I want to ask you, and I want to challenge you, reach out, extend mercy to somebody that you don't know. Extend grace and mercy like you have received, like I have received. Let's share it with someone else. God bless you, and I'll see you on Saturday morning.
To sow a seed to the Fountain of Raleigh Fellowship, visit our newly redesigned website, thefountainofraleigh.org, and select Sow a Seed from the homepage. Also, giving has been made easier with the new Fountain of Raleigh app, available now in the Apple App Store and Google Play Store. Download today, select Giving from the main menu, and then follow the directions to complete your giving through Subsplash.
Thank you so very much for all of your gifts and donations that you've given to the Fountain of Raleigh Fellowship. We thank you for what you've done in the past, what you're currently doing, and what you will do in the future. Your gifts and donations helps us to spread the gospel of Jesus Christ, not only locally, but throughout the world. Thank you again for your gifts, and may God continue to richly bless you. It is here at the Fountain that we believe that we are exceedingly and abundantly blessed, and may you receive those blessings that God has in store for you.